is beginning rookie mini camp, so that means we're talking the AFC North. We now welcome in Professor Mike Tannenbaum today. So, Professor, I need you to take us to school and give us your grades for each AFC North team, starting with the Cincinnati Bengals. What would you grade them right now?
All right, Amina, let's start with the Bengals. We're going to give them a C.
Oh,
now,
C.
look, I know you've never got a C, but Mr. Barry, not so much. Look, they had a lot of work to do on the defensive side of the ball. They were 28th in defensive efficiency. We know about offense. They had a couple of good players, Shamar Stewart, Demetrius Knight. Those are good players in the front seven, but they still don't have the Trey Hendrickson situation resolved. And I'm really concerned about what this front seven is going to look like. Maybe Myles Murphy gets a little bit better. They had to do more in the draft on the defensive side. All right, next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got an improvement here. We're going to give them a B-.
Okay, not too bad.
Yeah, they added a couple really good players. Derek Harmon in particular, I like a lot. Caleb Johnson, the productive running back, did a really good job for them. And then, for Iowa. And then Jack Sawyer from Ohio State was also a very good player. The reason it's a B-, they didn't take a quarterback until the 6th round. So the question mark for the Steelers, Amina, who's their quarterback?
Right.
The draft was solid, but more question marks.
All right, let's go with the Ravens.
Okay. We're going to give them a B+. This is a typical Baltimore Ravens draft. Rock solid, starting with Malachi Starks. This guy could do it all. You're going to pair him with Kyle Hamilton. I think these are going to be the two best safeties in the league. You can see him high pointing the ball here. He's athletic. He's versatile. I think he's going to be a great player. And then Mike Green, a great pass rusher. He had 17 sacks. He's going to come in and contribute right away. And then Emory Jones, offensive lineman. I think he's going to slide in a little bit. And then we're going to save the best for last. We are going to give the Cleveland Browns, ready?
Oh.
An A.
Wow.
Plus.
And another plus.
And here's why, Amina. They knocked it out of the park. They knocked it out of the park short term with guys like Mason Graham, who I think is going to be maybe the best defensive player in the draft. Carson Schlesinger, running back Quinshon Judkins here. And they also added, obviously, Shedeur Stewart, who I think is going to wind up being their starting quarterback. But the reason they get this extra plus, they have next year's #1 pick of Jacksonville. They picked in the top 5 this year with Trevor Lawrence. Who knows how valuable that pick is? So if you hit on Shedeur Sanders as your quarterback and you have Jacksonville 1, this could be a draft for the ages.
Yeah, not bad grades when you talk about the Ravens, the Browns, and the Steelers. But I'll say, look, C's get degrees. Matt's still here, so it doesn't matter. All right, Mike T with the latest. All right, it's May 1st, so it's only appropriate that Drake May address the media. Speaking on the Patriots' recent draft picks and new head coach Mike Vrabel. Take a listen. It's new on SportsCenter.
It's been awesome. It's been great with Coach. He's coming here and it seems like he's been here a while. He's so comfortable being in head coach. He's done it before. He's done it at a high level, won a lot of games. So I'm looking forward to getting things going. You can see he's trying to kind of install the new identity, and I think we're building towards that.
When you hear Will Campbell say, "I will fight and die to protect my quarterback," what does that mean to you?
Yeah, listen to it live. Man, that gets you going, gets your juices going. I think it makes you want to go out there and play football now. Pumped that we picked Will, and we got a chance to meet him when he came in and flew in on Friday. So pumped to get things going, and obviously that seems like a football player. That's what you want around here.
And now joined by Patriots reporter Mike Reese and NFL analyst Damian Woody. And Mike, I'll start with you. Drake May has to be thrilled that the Patriots have invested in his protection with Will Campbell. What more can you share about their budding relationship?
So, Amina, start with what Drake May just said. When you're a rookie first-round pick and you want to make an impact on your team, and what you say and your emotion the night of the draft does that in the moment, that's very powerful. And now I'll take you behind the scenes here at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, because Drake May was waiting for Will Campbell the next day when Campbell and his family flew in after being selected 4th overall by the Patriots. May and his family, May and Campbell met. Campbell's family was here. They met May, and Campbell said it's going to be the start of a relationship that will continue to grow.
Yeah, of course, Drake May has to be happy about that. And Damian, you also have to love that Campbell pick, but he's just one piece of their offensive line. Did the Patriots do enough to protect Drake May in year 2?
Yeah, listen, I love the additions that the Patriots made, not only with Will Campbell, but Morgan Moses, the veteran that came over from the New York Jets, veteran right tackle. And now you got the both tackle positions solidified, and obviously they've done work on the interior of the offensive line as well. Because that was the one area of the Patriots offense that really was lacking, was the offensive line. So now you go out there and you fortify the Patriots offensive line. Then you go out there and you go out and you draft a Travion Henderson, explosive back out of Ohio State, to add a different speed dimension to that backfield. A Kyle Williams, the 3rd-round pick out of Washington State, another wide receiver to go with Stephon Diggs, who they signed in free agency. And so if you're a Patriots fan, you're looking at all of these different pieces that Mike Vrabel and company have added to Drake May. Man, you got to be excited about where this thing is headed.
Yeah, the offensive line, a top priority for the Patriots going into this season. And Mike, moving forward, the Patriots also have a very crowded wide receiver room, something you don't hear very often. What can you share about the logjam at that position going into the season?
I mean, one of the things we learned from Drake May today is that when he was in high school in North Carolina, he had Stephon Diggs on his fantasy team. And he said today he's excited to be able to throw to him on his actual football team. We know Diggs is coming back from the torn ACL, so he's not expected on the field this spring. And the Patriots plan to give others an opportunity to show what they can do. You heard Damian mention Kyle Williams, the 3rd-round pick out of Washington State. He averaged 17.1 yards per catch last season. Add him to free agent signing Mac Hollins. He feels like the Patriots are headed in the right direction.
Yeah, the Patriots finally with some weapons on that offense. And Damian, still early in the offseason. However, what would you say are the realistic expectations for this Patriots team going into next season?
Yeah, I think this Patriots team is going to be one of the teams we talk about that could flip the script and make a playoff run. We know this team is. I think it's going to be very stout on the defensive side of the football. They added players on that side of the ball, but the moves that they made offensively to surround Drake May with not only fortifying the protection, but adding a very explosive back and the plethora of weapons that they added at the wide receiver position. I think this Patriots team is going to vie for a playoff spot this year.
Ooh, they have the protection, they have the weapons, they have the quarterback, they've got the defense. Hopefully it all comes together in 2025. Guys, thanks so much for the insight.
Out of our top story, the draft coverage begins. 357 days, 5 hours, 37 minutes, and 6 seconds as we count down to the next NFL draft. And why wouldn't we have a mock draft with that much time left before the next selection meeting? Jordan Reed joins us now. All right, Jordan, here's the deal. I've poured over this mock. And to me, the biggest story of your first mock draft is a quarterback who is not listed anywhere. Explain.
Yeah, the March for Arch, the planning for Manning. I've heard the slogans already with Arch Manning, but I just don't feel like there's any rush for him to enter the NFL, just because if you think about it, he's not going to be in a rush sitting behind Steve Sarkisian under his tutelage. He was sitting behind Quinn Ewers a season ago. He only has 2 career starts to date, which came against Louisiana Monroe and Mississippi State. Not high-quality opponents at all. So I think he just enjoys the college life. Of course, the NIL deals and everything that he has already with the Manning family royalty. He's not hurting for money at all. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Arch, until 2027 or 2028. You have to remember he has 3 years left of eligibility.
Which, by the way, I agree with you, but don't tell that to all these NFL front offices who are waiting for a Manning on their roster potentially next year. They might have to wait. Okay, so no Arch. Again, agree with you on that one. So without him, who is your top-rated quarterback?
It's Cade Klubnik, the quarterback of Clemson, and he's one that proved a lot of doubters wrong coming into the season. He made a monumental leap a season ago. As a sophomore, he only had 2,800 passing yards, 19 touchdowns to only 9 interceptions. That went all the way up to 3,600 passing yards, 36 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. I go back to that final college football playoff game against Texas. He was absolutely phenomenal in that he's a very clean processor. He has really good feet within the pocket, and he's surprisingly very mobile athlete as well. He can get himself out of harm's way. He had a lot of explosive touchdowns down the field as a runner. So I'm looking for him to take the next step